Welcome to the ultimate gaming realm, and this is your curator, Dixon, logging on. Haunted House 2010 is more likely a sequel than a remake, because a 2010 game is set 30 years later, almost about the time in reality when the original Atari 2600 game was released. Well, it starts out with a man reading his grandchildren a bedtime story about his adventures of Spirit Bay, and all of a sudden, Grandpa strangely disappeared.
I remember it like it was only yesterday. Our grandfather tucking us in at night, sending us off to sleep with his stories of amazing adventure.
But when we opened the tomb, it was empty. The urn had disappeared.
And then, he was gone. The flickering flame of a candle lost to the night.
Almost 30 years had passed, wondering, waiting, until one day a strange letter arrived.
A handwritten note that said simply, "The answers you seek lie in our graves." The return address? Spirit Bay.
A storm is coming, and the mansion is the only shelter and the only hope.
And 30 years later, the grandchildren gotten a strange letter about a possible lead with the return address of Spirit Bay. So either Jacob or Sylvia, or both, go on to investigate this matter. Most likely both Silver Springs, even if you're playing one player.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong about it being an actual sequel, or maybe it's actually both, a sequel and a remake. As far as I can tell, it's both. You can select in between the two, brother or sister. I'm playing the PC version, which seems to be a one-player game. The last time I played the game, I played the Xbox 360 version, and I remember that one being a two-player game. And chances are the Wii version is a two-player game as well. But I do know the PC version works with the Xbox 360 controller. The gameplay is a top-down adventure game. It feels like the classic Atari 2600 game. When it's all dark, all we see is your eyes. With light, we see the character. The game has various options of lights that you will come by, and these lights can become allies to you. But you can only hold 2 lights at a time. And most of them do expire, so kinda use them wisely. The game is decent, but it can be monotonous. And judging from the critics, this game got mixed reviews. And I honestly think it's a good game. I think it's much more easier than... I'll tell you that for sure. You will encounter all sorts of creatures in the game, like ghosts, bats, gargoyles, spiders, grim reapers, and of course, the ghost of Zachary Glaze. And creatures fear anything surrounding fire. At the beginning of the game, you'll pretty much start out with matches, and you can light fireplaces. And if you can lure a ghost near it, they're finished. And fireplaces also helps you get a hold of yourself after being scared stiff. And the only way to lose in the game is if you get scared to death. Pretty much like in Grab by the Ghoulies, and for that matter, the original Haunted House game as well. And you can find relics that are all similar to fictional horror movies. And plus you will find interesting journal pages if you feel like reading, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. That's always an option. And that's pretty neat that they have that feature, because reading can be an exercise to your mind, even if it's all fictional. When you stop the game and continue your story later, you can change character before you can continue. He or she will have the same 2 lights as you did at the end of the previous level. Neither of the 2 characters has its special abilities. Only 2 differences between Jacob or Sylvia is their voices, of course, because one's a boy, one's a girl, and how they react around ghosts.
Is anybody there?
Once again, in the 2010 game of Haunted House, the main villain in the game is the ghost of Zachary Graves. There's about 30 levels, including the boss battles, like a huge gargoyle, a giant spider, and of course your final boss, Zachary Graves. Now the middle plot and the ending.
What was that? Who wants some? That'll leave a mark.
But I must warn you, there will be some possible spoiler alerts that will come by. You have to find the pieces of broken urn and put them together, and then destroy Zachary Graves, and then escape the mansion.
Oh no! Grandpa!
Life. It has been so long since I tasted life. Now that you have brought me the urn, I shall have what I truly seek. Life anew and immortality. Rise, my children. Take back what is rightfully mine.
Hello? Play on! Ow! Oh, no you don't! Fireball!
Now that was quite an adventure.
Grandpa!
Grandpa? Oh, right, that's me! The last thing I remember was a flash and the urn!
It's gone now. Real gone.
More's the pity. Oh, look, what a lovely old house. It looks so peaceful.
Yeah,
Sure, it's,
real cozy.
Great!
Come on, Grandpa. Let's go home.
Home? Yeah, home! Let's! That reminds me. Have I ever told you about the Book of the Cursed? It was a dark and stormy day. It was night. It was a dark and stormy night.
Then both Jacob and Sylvia reunite with Grandpa after 30 years of his disappearance. And then that's the end. Or has it end? Who knows? Now the 2010 Haunted House game can be pretty easy, and it has a cute haunted house story. I mean, the game's nothing too special, and the game's not for everybody, and it's probably not for my nephew since he didn't really like the game, and I even bought him a physical copy of the Wii game, which I never played, but he didn't seem to care too much about it though. Well, he was still a young boy, so I decided I think that would be good for him. But I would still recommend it, either on the PC, Steam, Xbox 360 download, or a physical copy on the Wii. If you have a chance, to me, the 2010 Haunted House game is worth getting. And this is Dixon of the Ultimate Gaming Realm, wishing you all a happy Halloween, and now I'm logging off.